SEC Plus. Gary Laney of Advanced Digital Media, along with, to my left, Mike Herndon of AL.com, and to my right, James Smith of NOLA.com. And like we do every Thursday, we're here to discuss recruiting topics. And today we're going with a little bit of a broad subject, and the subject of quarterbacks. When you look at the NFL draft, Johnny Manziel and Blake Bortles, the first two guys off the board, were former three-star prospects coming out of high school. And when you look at the SEC next year, Prescott was his three-star guy. Bill Wallace was his three-star guy and two-star guy in some recruiting services. Nick Marshall wasn't even classified as a quarterback. So, guys, why is it so hard to evaluate quarterbacks, and why there's so many guys that are kind of come out of nowhere to, become stars? I'll go with you first, Jimmy.
Well, I think to evaluate any position, because it's so much that you have to take into consideration. The kid, both physically and mentally, but with quarterbacks especially, man, his full understanding of the game. High school systems are relatively easy compared to it's a big step up to the college level. The depth of the playbook, the amount of different things they go over in high school, they might only go through one or two reads. In college, they want you to go through all your progressions. Position, not only from the physical makeup, but the mental aspect of the game. How tough are you mentally? Because it's a real challenge out there as a quarterback every day. Play. And, so there's so much more that goes into it, and you really just don't get to see it. There's a minimal evaluation period for college coaches. They really don't get to see what these kids are made of every day. They can ask the coaches, they can ask the trainers, but everybody usually is in their corner, so they're not going to tell you anything bad, So it's really hard to get a read on how these kids are mentally made up and what their work ethic's about, and that's ultimately what will determine a quarterback's success at the next level.
And Mike, I guess that's hard to simulate in a 7-on-7 kind of camp kind of situation as well.
Well, certainly. I mean, in a 7-on-7, you don't have linemen rushing at you. So, as Jimmy said, the mental aspect of the game for a quarterback is more of a transition, I think, than any other position. And that's probably why you see colleges and even NFL scouts have a harder time with that projection. You can look at guys that are 6'4" and 6'5", and you want that type of size, but then you can see a guy like Manziel, who's only 6 foot, excel because of the other abilities he brings, the mental thing he brings to the game, the mental toughness, and obviously his mobility. So I think the measurables that you have in other positions, probably for quarterbacks, it's a lot harder to translate because of the mental aspect of the game and just how big a transition that is.
Well, and let's take this a step further. We have Texas A&M with a highly regarded quarterback in Kyle Allen, looking like he's going to step in and be the starter. LSU, it's Brandon Harris, potentially Anthony Jennings, two highly regarded guys. Probably Jennings a little bit more out of high school than Harris was. I'm sorry, the other way around. Harris more so than Jennings was. Should these fan bases have some trepidation about having these young guys because of the nature of the quarterback position, how hard it is to project?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that first. I mean, definitely, you don't want inexperience at any position on the field, but you definitely don't want it at quarterback. That's where you want the hand to be steady, calm, poised, things like that. And usually that comes with time and experience and repetitions and the. So I'd be definitely a little wary. But then again, you're talking Mike Sumlin, Cam Cameron, two of the better offensive minds in the conference. If anybody can build their offense around a young quarterback, I think it would be these two guys. But I would definitely be a little reserved in my expectations as a fan base. Inexperienced young quarterback out there like a Brandon Harris, Kyle Allen, or Anthony Jennings, who took minimal snaps last year.
And does that mean Alabama has a big – I mean, I guess you know a little bit more about what you're getting out of Coker at Alabama than you would at LSU and Texas A&M?
I mean, he's not right out of high school. He's coming from another college program that runs a similar system. He's still got to learn the new system, and Alabama has a new offensive coordinator coming in Lane Kiffin. So there is still a transition there, but it's not the same as coming right out of high school. To piggyback on what Jimmy said, though, looking at the freshmen coming out, the one that really intrigues me is Kyle Allen, because I think that's a system, and certainly you can go back and look at what Manziel did. Kyle Allen's a different player, but that's a system that's geared for quarterbacks to be successful, I think, and to be successful in a hurry. I'm interested to see what he goes in there and does. Kevin Sumlin in the past has had quarterbacks that were more passers and not as much with the feet as Manziel was. Look at what Case Keenum did at Houston. Of all the freshmen, he's the one I'm looking at that may have a good shot to come in and be successful right away.
All right, there you have it. Quarterback position, always hard to project. Guys, I'm going to let you close out with one or two guys that we should look at for the upcoming class, the 2015 class. Go to you first, Jimmy.
Yeah, there's really, a good group of quarterbacks again. The one that's always intrigued me is from South Florida, Torrance Gibson. One of those rare breed of athletes, got the physique of Vince Young, Mike Vick, arm strength and speed. So, I mean, this kid has a physical package that's really rare to see in today's game. He's one of those guys that could really take over the college game. If everything progresses, again, we have to see the mental makeup of him, and 2016 in the state of Louisiana is going to have a plethora of guys that are going to be right in that 3-star range that won't be national recruits. But a lot of these kids will end up at big-time programs, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see any of these guys come out. Deuce Wallace for 2016 is really good. Shea Patterson's one of the best in the country. I mean, there's about 5 or 6 major conference quarterbacks in the state of Louisiana for 2016, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out long term.
Mike, last words to you. Give us a couple guys to look for.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look around the greater Southeast, you're seeing a lot more dual threat guys come out, the guys more in the Brandon Harris mold. He mentioned Torrance Gibson being one of them. Kai Loxley is another one over on the East Coast. Jared Stidham out of Texas. I'm seeing more and more of those type of guys come out of high school ranks now, and fewer of the pocket passers.
All right, there you have it. Quarterback position, always the most important one, the one looked at the most, and the one the hardest to project. For James and Mike, I'm Gary. See you guys next week.